All right, for today's video review, we're going to be taking a look at BotBots Series 6 GREASEBOWL from the Oil Slicks team. And yeah, this is another one of those chase figures that are, for the most part, just repaints of previous BotBots in this black with kind of like pearlescent color scheme here. But what's kind of interesting about GREASEBOWL is we've not actually gotten this mold officially before. The only time that we've seen this mold is it was in the previous Series 6 that was originally announced before the pandemic that was eventually canceled. So this is actually the first time we're actually getting this mold. And yeah, I mean, you know, these ones are always especially a bummer for me when it's like a mold that we haven't gotten before in the chase figure color scheme, because I'm just like, wow, I like this mold. Wish it were toilet colors, since yes, it does turn into a little toilet here, and I much would have preferred the color scheme that came on the the one from the original Series 6. But at least, like, I guess you could say it's like a toilet that's been like spray painted, maybe in like an abandoned mall or something like that. I guess it kind of works. Like, the shape is there. I think it's a relatively good toilet shape. Again, I just kind of wish it was in more toilet appropriate colors. But yeah, I mean, if you want to count it as a feature, you can open up the lid in this mode, which is mostly just part of a transformation, but you can do that. And yeah, this is another one that has some issues with transformation. To start off here, first thing we want to do is just take these bottom sections here and just slide them out to be the feet. Now the arms, notionally, you're supposed to just pull them out here and they'll like hinge up on this ball joint, but they're just really isn't the clearance for that cavity for the like rounded section of the hand to actually come out of there. Like, if you press it all the way up in, you can't even like push the hand back into that section. So when you're pulling it out, it always, like every single time, defaults to just coming off of the ball joint itself, and then you just take it and put it back on where it's supposed to be. There just isn't clearance for that to move from point A to point B. It always has to come off, which is a bummer, and doesn't feel like it should have been that difficult a thing to fix if they had just, done a quality control test on these guys and noticed that problem. Because, like, really, there's space in that cavity for the hand, but there's not like space for the diagonal for the hand to actually rotate out of it. And that just seems like a really obvious oversight. I guess at the end of the day, like, if you don't mind parts forming, it's not that difficult to get the hands out of there and then put them back in. But it does seem like just kind of wrong. So it's kind of annoying. But yeah, then you open up the lid and the head. I had issues with this for a while where I literally could not get the head out, and there was no good place to like stick a tool in there to get it. So I was thinking that, like, when I got this guy for a while, I thought that it was literally just untransformable. There are like little tiny fingernail grips on the crest here. So if you get a fingernail on either side and you just wiggle back and forth for a little while, it's not fun, but eventually you can pull the head out. I wish there was a better way to do that. I wish there was like maybe, you could like stick your finger underneath and push it out, but I guess it's not the worst. Like, even some previous series BotBots, I think there have been, mechanisms that were harder to operate. It is just a little bit annoying. And then, if you end up eventually like tearing off those little grips, there's just no way you'll ever get the head out again. Like, there's no like sort of way for you to force it in any other way. And then, yeah, that could be GREASEBOWL's robot mode, but they do have another little feature here where if you take the little like lid of the top section of the toilet here and unplug it, it actually, these two little sections are like these little interlocking knives, which I think is really cool. So you can use these as accessories. So you could have them like hold it in their hands, but I generally prefer. He's also got little like peg holes on the arms here, so you can like plug them on his little arm blades, and I think that's really cool. And again, it's one of those things where it's just like, despite my grievances about the transformation, I do think that this BotBot ends up being pretty cool, and I just really wish that it was the colors of the object that it's supposed to be. Because, like, I don't know, the pearlescent color scheme is pretty, but it just, is a little bit too removed from the actual object for my preferences. And again, that original Series 6 image that we saw had a more defined face, because generally these oil slick guys have just like silver paint apps for the face, so it's a little bit ill-defined, especially since the head is so small compared to the rest of the body. So Yeah, I don't really like the facial expression there. I can't even totally tell what's supposed to be going on with the mouth. Like, I think he's like sticking his tongue out or something, but it's kind of hard to tell. But yeah, otherwise, proportionally, I really like the robot mode. Articulation wise, I mean, the arms are on ball joints, so you can, kind of move those in and out and rotate them around. That's about it. Obviously, if you don't want the weapons on, you could just leave them in the back there. It's really not obtrusive at all. Yeah, kind of a tough one to score because it's one of those ones where it's just like, man, I know the way that I would have liked this a lot better if they had just done it, and they just didn't do it. So I don't know. I'd say robot mode. Still, I think probably I'd give a 4 out of 5. I think I'm still pretty favorable on it. It definitely, I really just wish, honestly, like if I had to change one thing, it would be that the face had a little bit more like interesting character to it, because I think that the expression that's on there and like the lack of, paint picking it out is a little bit boring. Alt mode, I think I'll still give a 4 out of 5. Again, like it could be better if it were just the right colors, but proportionally, I think it's pretty good. I think you can still tell what it's supposed to be despite the fact that the colors are wrong. And then transformation, I think I'll give a 2 instead of a 1 because it's still a pain, but honestly, like if you can get over the fact that you are parts forming the hands, like it's at least kind of easy to do, especially compared to some other Series 6 BotBots, especially from the 8-pack. So yeah, I think it's okay. Again, it's just like the arms kind of irritates me more on principle than in practice because it just feels like a really extremely obvious design oversight of like, yeah, if you have a chunky little mitt here and it has to fold into a cavity, there has to be enough space for it not just to fit there, but also fold in. Like that's like moving parts on a toy 101. Just it doesn't matter if it can physically fit there, you also have to be able to get it from A to B. And because the ball joints pop off so easy, it ends up not being that difficult, but on principle it still really bothers me. So yeah, that's what 442. That's going to make this one a 10 out of 15, which makes them a 3-star BotBot. So yeah, not terrible. Again, just like a few little things here that I'm just like, that didn't have to be that way. Like could have just carved out a little bit more material there for the arms, or could have just made this. I really don't understand why all of the like there's like one or two, I think, of the ones that were in the original Series 6 that got scrapped that they actually ended up using for this Series 6, granted in different color schemes, but at least they're like regular color schemes. And then there's a bunch of them that I was like really excited for, like this one and the fish one, that just now only exist in this pearlescent color scheme. And I'm like, I want the original one. Why? I don't understand why that had to be scrapped entirely, even though you're doing a new Series 6, because they're certainly not better than the old versions. So I don't know. It's just a little bit perplexing to me. But yeah, if you want to pick up GREASEBOWL, they're available in one of the 2 Custodial Crew 8-packs. Now, they are the actual like chase figures, so you won't actually be able to see it in the packaging. It is the package that includes Unhandy, the like little glove guy, and Vomit Comet. That's the pack that has GREASEBOWL as the chase figure. So that's how you would get this BotBot. Not available in the 1-packs or anything like that. But yeah, that's pretty much all there is to them. If you enjoy my videos, make sure to leave a like and consider subscribing. I do reviews every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. Make sure to check me out on my Instagram account where I post various toys-related stuff. That is toys.n.art on Instagram. And without further ado, here we have BotBots Series 6 GREASEBOWL from the Oil Slicks.